In this lesson, we're going to be learning about aerial shot techniques and how multiple axes of movement can lead to more cinematic and better looking footage. We'll start by examining a few basic shooting rules that should be applied to all of these shooting techniques. The first shooting rule I'll recommend is just to go slow. Slow is going to be more cinematic. It gives the viewer the impression you're shooting from a larger platform, such as a helicopter, which is subconsciously going to increase the production value. And it's going to make a shot appear more controlled and crafted. It's easy to get the need for speed when you're first starting out flying, and that can work in some cases, but a lot of times it's going to result in really turbulent and shaky footage, especially when there's a lot of wind. You're not flying in a drone race, so don't rush your shots, and always remember to fly through your shot, giving you a couple extra seconds after just in case you need that when you're editing. Also go easy on the sticks with gradual movements. And remember to accelerate and decelerate slowly, otherwise you're going to jar the camera around with the quicker movements, increasing the odds of having the jello effects on your footage. Pre-planning and visualizing your shots is going to help a lot. It's also going to help you optimize your battery life when you're trying to get those shots. So you don't run into a situation where you miss the shot you truly need because your batteries are out of power. It's a common practice for a drone pilot just to sit for a few minutes and close their eyes and visualize the exact flight maneuver they're wanting to accomplish, even thinking how they're going to move the controls during the shot. This can help make the maneuver moves second nature when the shot's actually taking place. Finally, before we get into specifics, don't be afraid to imitate big budget shots you see in movies, which are typically going to have two axes of movement at the same time, such as flying backwards and upwards at the same time at a smooth, steady rate. We'll explore this more later on in this lesson. The first shot technique we're going to explore are called strafe movements. Strafe movements work quite well for showing landscapes from a different perspective. Since most landscapes are shown on aerial videos with the drone only moving forward or backwards, a strafing shot can stand out. It can also act as an effective way to reveal cool features in the terrain. Orbits are another way to give a good cinematic look to a shot. This can be achieved by having your drone strafe to the right or the left, and also pulling on the yaw stick in the opposite direction. It's crucial to really go easy on the yaw, however, or you'll end up spinning your drone too quickly and spoiling the effect. DJI has vastly made this technique easier by integrating an intelligent flight mode on their DJI Pilot app. This will make the drone fly orbits automatically. We're going to explore the DJI Pilot app later on in this course. A fly-through shot can also be quite effective. However, they're going to be the most risky since you're going to be relying only on your FPV in order to navigate your drone. I wouldn't attempt this unless you're 100% confident in your piloting skills. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of these shots, mainly because when I see them, it's a telltale sign that the shot was filmed with a drone. And this may distract your audience because they might be thinking more about the risk of the shot and not admiring the cinematography. You can also add gimbal movements into your shots combined with dual axis movement, so this will effectively give you 3 different axes of movement. One of my favorites is flying forward and tilting the gimbal upwards to reveal the landscape. This reminds me of the opening helicopter scene in Jurassic Park. Another gimbal shot I like is moving the drone up vertically while tilting the gimbal down. This gives the shot a nice vertigo effect, giving the viewer an idea of how high up the shot actually is. You can also add depth to your scene by using extreme parallax effects, often with trees or structures closer to the drone, which helps provide a visual aid for the viewer on how large the surrounding landscape actually is. One camera move I really don't recommend that much is just rotating the drone on the yaw axis, effectively the same as a 360 panning shot. This is because typically a drone will have a hard time being precise with this movement, and it can give the footage kind of a whip pan effect if you're not careful. Not to mention you're going to get the least amount of parallax and will almost seem as if you're just panning the camera on a hilltop as opposed to getting a nice aerial shot. That's not to say you should never do a 360 panning shot, but if you do, you may want to use a drone such as the DJI Inspire 1 that can rotate its gimbal independently of the drone. That way it's just rotating the gimbal and not having to rotate the entire drone, which could shake the footage around. Get creative with your own shooting techniques and don't be afraid to combine 2 different types of shots together. An example would be using an orbit shot and then switching it into a strafe shot. There's lots of possibilities to explore and create your own unique shooting style. Just remember to study your location before you take flight and fly safely. In the next lesson, we're going to examine the different types of weather you may encounter and how they can affect your shots. We're also going to look at some suggested flying conditions.